Yeah, I mean, Sydney, you touched on this sort of maybe short lifespan of people working in risk and compliance in terms of the roles that they're in. I wondered if you've got any of your own sort of techniques or things that you've maybe seen in terms of helping to prevent some of that burnout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a journey for all of us, I'm sure. Um, I personally have some quite clear boundaries on what I will and won't work overtime, for example. So, do you know what? If there's an investigation or an audit, yeah, absolutely fine. If there's suspicious activity, yeah, okay, fine. If there were to be a kind of data breach, okay, fine. Those kinds of things, happy to work the overtime. That is it. And I think I had to agree that with myself quite a few years ago to say, okay, because as kind of James has just said, it's never finished. There is no moment where you go, well, that's nice. I have an empty inbox. Everything's all sorted. Let's, have a night off. That doesn't exist, that end state. So you've got to be comfortable with switching off the laptop at 5:30 and saying, right, that will wait. And if the business is not working with you on that, then some harder conversations have to be had. And that's where things like resourcing and all of those kind of questions that we've kind of already kind of touched on um, come in. The other big thing I would say to anybody who is really struggling is talk to other compliance professionals, particularly if, like me, you are a one-person compliance team. It's one thing to be able to kind of speak to your own kind of colleagues, but there's something quite unique and quite beneficial about chatting to other people who understand the rigor and understand the kind of technical side of it, but they also understand the burnout and the expectation and the pressure from outside of your business. So look on LinkedIn, there are webinars, there are seminars, there are, networking events, all of those things, community groups, whatever it is, kind of former colleagues, anybody that you can go and have a coffee with and say, am I going insane? Or does this new piece of, regulation not make any sense? Or what's going on here? And look, respect the kind of confidentiality requirements 100%, but there's nothing to stop you going and sitting with anybody and saying, can you just be my sounding board for half an hour and I can buy the coffees?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really positive message, and it's something I find sort of surprising sometimes. I guess when you see a room full of risk compliance professionals get together, like how supportive everyone is of each other is really nice. When we do in-person events, always come away from it feeling really positive because of that sort of culture, I guess, in the industry. Um, Dan, is there anything you sort of do to help your team feel motivated or feel positive when things get tough?
I think just checking in with them and making sure that, they feel like their voice is heard, that their concerns are being listened to and if needs be raised. I think, making sure that we can give them opportunities to sort of grow their knowledge, grow their experience as well is really key. And so we're always looking at, what can we do and giving them those opportunities sort of yes, it's slightly additional work, and we do have to let them know early on that this is extra work, unfortunately, and it's up to you, but we do try and support them through that. And then other things, if someone's feeling overwhelmed, jumping in, if I have to jump in and get something for them, if I have to jump in and finish off a case or do some work do some sort of AML work because we are overloaded and there's just no capacity anymore, then that's what we have to do. And it's just, giving them that support.